One of the best ways to change your reality is to assume a new identity. It's basically method acting, character acting. You change and pretend that you're a totally different person, and when you focus and change who you are on the inside, your entire experience, your world, your reality is going to shift to match that new identity that you created. And I have experienced this firsthand. There was a time in my life, in my career actually, where I only saw myself as a receptionist. Every job that I had had was always like an admin role, a receptionist role, someone in a helping role who didn't really make a lot of money, who wasn't really the important role at the company. I was the helper. And I do love helping people, that's why I love teaching. But I didn't see myself as this high-performing, salesperson who was a closer, who could make the money. I always thought that was for someone else, someone who deserved it, someone who was more confident, someone who was more pushy. I just saw salespeople as people who were more driven, I guess, than I was. And I had never even tried to go after those jobs. I didn't think I was capable of it. Then I was in this time in my life where I was really desperate for money. I had a lot of bills that were due. I had like this credit card I owed a lot of money on. And I was just in this desperate place where I needed more money. And I had this opportunity to interview for this sales job. And I was very nervous about it. I had no idea if I was capable of it. But the desperation in me pushed me into it. And I was like, well, I'll just try it. Who knows? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll just give it a try. So I interviewed for the job and I actually got it. I was now a sales consultant. So once I got to the training, I felt like an imposter. I was like, what am I doing here? I've never done sales before. How am I going to get through this? But then I decided that I was just going to mimic everything that the trainer taught me. I got into the character, I got into the role of just pretending to be a high-performing sales consultant. And what I did is I copied and emulated our sales trainer. She was the top in the company. She was the highest performing sales consultant. And in my mind, I was like, well, if I can act like her and I can emulate her, I'll be a top performing salesperson. So that's what I did. I studied her like she was a character in a movie. I studied her mannerisms. I studied her voice, studied the words that she used. I studied everything about her, and then I pretended to be her. When I started to do the consultations, I just got into character. I pretended that I was her. I had her voice, her tone, her confidence. I pretended I was a successful, high-performing sales consultant every time I walked into that room. And I was really good at it. I was good at pretending to be her. Even people in the office were like, wow, you were just like a mini her. And by method acting, getting into the character of this top-performing sales consultant, guess what happened? I became a top-performing sales consultant. I was so good at my job. I was so good they even had me traveling for a while, going to different center locations, trying to help them with sales. And something that I realized was that inside of me already lived a successful sales consultant. I was just tapping into this highest version of me. Somewhere in another timeline, there was a successful version of me. And I was just emulating and getting into character of that version of me. When you act as if, you become it. Your entire world is going to shift to match who you're acting to be. And I experienced that. Not only did I become a top performing sales consultant, but this affected my entire reality. I became a confident person who was good at negotiating, who was good at standing up for herself, who had confidence when she spoke. And prior to this, I was not like that. I was very shy. I never really had confidence or thought I was worth all of this money. And so after acting as this important person, I felt what that felt like. And then I became that person. My entire identity shifted to someone who was confident, someone who carried herself with confidence, someone who spoke with confidence, someone who was able to negotiate high dollar sales with confidence. I changed into a person who felt deserving, who felt capable, who was able to take risks and push herself. It shifted how I saw myself. It completely changed my entire life. So if you're wanting a new life for yourself, maybe you feel desperate like I did, or maybe you have this burning desire, you want something so bad, get into the character of who you want to be. Get into the character of the person who has whatever it is you want. Study them. Study them just like I studied my trainer. Look at the mannerisms, the tone of voice, their thought process. Who is this person you want to become? Study them and become them. Act as if you are them right now. And this is one of the major lessons in manifesting something higher in your life. You have to become that version of you. You have to assume that identity now. And then your external world, your experiences will catch up to that new identity. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to say, you're really capable of that sales job or that amount of money or this love or this body that you want. No one came in and told me that. I had to just act like it. I had to just push myself from a place of desperation, yes, but pushing myself into being this new version of me. I then saw I was capable of being that version of me. So get into character of the person you want to be, that you're craving to be. Stop waiting for permission. Assume that new identity. Study. Really understand what that version of you looks like, acts like, talks like, thinks like, feels like, and prove it to yourself that you are that version of you, that you can be that version of you. Stop limiting yourself like I did. Never doubt yourself. You are a beautiful, wonderful person who can achieve and have whatever you want. I know you can because I did it. And I'm no one special. I'm just like you. I'm a person trying to do their best in this world who just happened to be in a place of desperation and was able to push myself to trying something new and used this technique of method acting to get myself there, to prove it to myself. So copy what I did, get into the character of who you want to be right now, and your entire life can shift and will shift if you can do this. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.